All right, let's be real for a second. You've got a decent job, right? You're not out there buying yachts, you're just living. But at the end of every month, you look at your bank account and it just feels like you're treading water. Sound familiar? Yeah, you are definitely not alone in feeling that way.
And that quiet little whisper, man, it can be overwhelming. You scroll through social media, you talk to friends, and it feels like everyone else has got it all figured out. Well, here's the good news. It's not because you're lazy or bad with money. Nope. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the real reasons you feel this pressure. And this is the important part, what you can actually do about it.
So, here's the game plan. First, we'll tackle why you feel broke. Then we'll look at how the game is kind of rigged against you. After that, we'll get into the simple math that changes everything, followed by 3 easy rules to build wealth. And we'll wrap up with one specific action you can take literally today. Okay, first things first, let's get this out of the way. This whole idea that you're broke because you buy too many lattes, it's nonsense. It's a total distraction. The reality is, you're playing a financial game where the rules were written a long, long time ago, and spoiler alert, they weren't really written for you to win. So, this feeling, it's like a squeeze from 2 sides. On one side, you've got these huge systemic forces making it just plain harder to get ahead. And on the other side, you've got these invisible psychological traps that are quietly draining your bank account. Let's start by looking at some of the hard data. So let's talk about just the price of admission to the Good Job Club, college. Back in 2000, the average public tuition was around $3,500 a year. Fast forward to 2015, and boom, it's over $10,000. We're talking a nearly 3x increase. It's the same degree, but you're starting the race with a much, much heavier weight on your back. Okay, and at the same time, check this out. Since the late 70s, how productive we are at our jobs has just shot through the roof. We're creating way more value than ever before. But have our paychecks kept up? Not even close. If the minimum wage had actually grown with productivity, it would be over $24 an hour right now. That massive gap you see, that's money that should be in your pocket, but it isn't. And then there's housing. You know, the cornerstone of the American dream. It used to be that a typical home cost about 3 times what a typical family made in a year. Totally doable. Today, that ratio is 7 to 8 times. Think about that. That single number just lays bare how incredibly difficult it is for so many people to buy a home and build wealth that way. So yeah, those are the big external hurdles, the system itself. But honestly, as if that wasn't enough, we're also wrestling with our own brains. There are these super sneaky psychological traps that we all fall into, and they make things even tougher. Let's break down the big 3. First up is something called lifestyle inflation. You know how this goes. You finally get that raise you worked so hard for, and what's the first thing we think? Awesome, I can get a bigger apartment, or finally, I can upgrade my car. And look, it feels great, you deserve it, but the problem is your spending just expands to eat up that entire raise. So even though you're making more money, you're not actually getting any wealthier. All right, next up, the subscription economy. Quick gut check. How much do you think you spend on subscriptions every month? Go ahead, take a guess. Most people say maybe $80. Well, the data shows the actual average is over $200 a month. These things are designed to be set it and forget it. They're death by 1,000 cuts, and they add up to a huge financial drain. Okay, I know. Hearing all this, it can feel pretty bleak. The system's tough, our own brains are working against us, like what are we supposed to do? But this, right here, is the turning point of our whole conversation. Because there is a force so powerful that it can completely change the game for you. It's not some crazy secret, but it's something most of us just don't fully appreciate. And that force is compound interest. And to really see how this works, let me tell you a quick story about 2 investors. We'll call them Alex and Jordan. Alex starts investing $200 a month right out of college at age 22, but he only does it for 10 years, and then he stops. Cold. Total invested? 24 grand. Now there's Jordan. She doesn't start until she's 32, but she's diligent. She invests that same $200 a month all the way until she retires at 65. She invests way more money, almost 80 grand in total. So the question is, when they both hit age 65, who has more money? The answer is Alex, by a lot. He ends up with over $600,000, way more than Jordan, even though she invested over 3 times as much of her own money. How is that even possible? It's because Alex's money had a 10-year head start to just sit there and grow on its own. That's the magic. Time is the most important ingredient, not the amount of money.
And this all leads to probably the most important idea in personal finance. We are obsessed with how much money we make, our salary. But the single biggest factor in building wealth isn't your income. It's the gap between what you make and what you spend. That gap, your savings rate, that is your superpower. That's the money you put to work, the money that compounding can turn into a fortune over time.
Okay, that's the what. So, how do we actually do it? Look, you can find a million different financial tips online. Let's forget all that. It really boils down to a super simple framework. Just 3 rules. If you can nail these 3 things, you will fundamentally change your financial life, I promise.
Okay, here they are. Rule number 1, pay yourself first. This is huge. Don't try to save what's left over at the end of the month. Automate it. Make that savings transfer happen the second your paycheck hits, before you even have a chance to spend it. Rule 2, measure your net worth, not your income. Your salary is just one number. Your net worth is the real scoreboard. And rule number 3, always be widening the gap. This means focusing on both sides of the equation, earning more and spending less, intentionally. Every little bit helps.
I just want to double click on Rule 2 for a second, because this is a real game changer. Your net worth is the true measure of your financial health. It's the ultimate scoreboard. The formula is dead simple. It's what you own, that's your assets, minus what you owe, your liabilities. If you start tracking this number every single month, I guarantee it will change your perspective. It shows you if you're actually moving the ball down the field. But here's the real secret sauce that makes all of this stick. This isn't just about changing your habits. It's about changing your identity. You have to stop telling yourself, I'm trying to be better with money. Instead, you have to decide, I am the kind of person who is intentional with my money. I am a wealth builder. That shift in identity is everything. So, with that new identity in mind, let's make this real. Let's land the plane with one simple, powerful first step you can take today. The goal here isn't to solve all your money problems in an afternoon. No way. The goal is just to prove to yourself that you're the kind of person who takes action. So here it is. This is your only assignment for this week. I want you to open up your banking app or your credit card statement. Just scroll through the last month. Find one recurring charge, one subscription, one membership, anything that you can live without, and cancel it. That's it. That's your first win on the board. And that's the whole point, right? That one tiny action sends a powerful signal to your brain. It proves that your identity is already starting to shift. You are becoming someone who is in control. The goal isn't to be perfect overnight. It's just about proving to yourself that you take action. Your journey to financial freedom, it starts right now with that one small intentional decision.